Welcome everyone to another Healer Spotlight. I'm Salina, energy healer and mentor, and I love helping others strengthen their gifts and expand their reach. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you the lovely Janlia Riley, a certified emotion code practitioner, body code, belief code practitioner. She also has, her own intuitive modalities as well. Janlia is a Sacred Heart Energy Activator, a generational health and wellness holistic healer, and teacher that helps others all over the world in awakening and activating their heart energies so they can nurture a future filled with love, health, and hope through deep healing and personal empowerment. Janlia is also the creator of the H.O.M.E program, H.O.M.E, which stands for Heart Opening Miracles Effect. I love that. She is passionate about healing mothers, parents, children, and individuals by identifying and clearing deep core issues and faulty belief systems for transitioning from the tired negative stories and helping others transform back to the beauty and truth of the human potential. So we'll dive into her journey, her experiences, some of the powerful breakthroughs she's witnessed in her practice. So if you're on a healing path, whether for yourself or others, you're going to love this conversation. So let's dive in. Welcome, Janlia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Selena. So happy to be here with you and everybody.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start with you, Janlia. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what initially drew you to the world of healing.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Background. How much time do we have?
Whatever
So
time.
I'll start, so I'll start with how I got started as a healer. And it's more recently, right? I believe it's a lifelong, it's my true purpose and my calling. And it's been a lifelong journey to finally be able to do what I do today. But the hints and the clues have always been there throughout my whole entire life. I've always been curious about human potential, about healing, and just really drawn to this work and being inauthentic about ourselves in our heart. So needless to say, growing up, it wasn't always easy, right? Unless you had people around you in those type of conversations, it's often very disconnected from what you're having to deal with in, the day-to-day life. And so how I really got started as a healer, I was actually doing life coaching, holistic health and wellness life coaching for mostly women in health and nutrition, especially, in dieting and those type of areas. And although they were getting much successes, I quickly realized that unless we heal the underlying core stuff, there's underlying core stuff that we need to clear in order to not just, feel better, feel good, have a better lifestyle temporarily, but also heal the core stuff so we can be in our true authentic selves. I actually had a friend who went into hospital and also other close people who were dealing with mental health issues. And so all of that got me into really finding out there's got to be more help. There's got to be more we can do, right, for ourselves. And that's how it got me into really finding out about actually the emotion code. And there's no looking back since then.
I know what you mean. Like, I was in a totally different industry. No, I'm not completely different. I was still helping people, but we were dealing with the underlying emotional root of so many things.
Right.
And sounds like, you recognize that in your coaching and helping women and fell into the emotion code.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, a lot of like, especially now, like there's so much need for healing, but then there's also so much things out there that the word healing is just getting thrown out, right? But there's truly, as you and I know, because we both know about the emotion code, body code, and the belief code, there's so much more that we can actually do that is at the deep core level. And that's really the my goal here is to expose that and share with everybody what they really can transform from what they've been suffering from and what they would love to transition into, which is all about coming back to home.
Yes, yes, helping us
Yes,
remember who we really are at our core,
exactly.
right? Without
Yes,
all these
yes,
layers of trauma on us, right?
yes.
Okay, so awesome. Well, maybe if you could like take us back to a little bit more of your origin story. It's probably been a few years since you found the emotion code, body code, belief code, but how was your life like back before, and how did you even hear about it? Like where were you? What were you doing? That sort of thing.
Yes. So I found Dr. Bradley Nelson and discovered healing from Gaia.com from watching the documentary on the healing. That's where I really first saw him speak and talk about the emotion code. I was already really interested in different other modalities, and in fact, I started Reiki like years and years ago.
Okay.
Um, and I'm so glad. Everything is divine timing, right? I'm so glad that I decided to get certified in the emotion code first, because it's just so straight to the point and so effective. But origin story, at that point, I believe I was about to, or I was pregnant with actually, was pregnant with my third child. I have four, so it's my first son, my third child. So, and I remember that because I was remembering whether this was going to affect babies in the womb and whether it's safe and all those type of questions, which of course, in case you were pregnant, it's totally good and totally fine. And in fact, highly encouraged, right?
Right.
So I was really looking for it for my friend, right? And also somebody close to me who couldn't get the help from the mental health institutions. I won't name, what institution or what city I'm in, but to get help is so difficult, like
Difficult,
real
yeah.
help, right? And we had, also gone to the doctor's appointments, and they just refer you to mental health, and then mental health refer you back. But
Hmm.
also prior to that, I had experienced, certain depression, postpartum depression as well, which was never diagnosed because unless you fit all the boxes perfectly, they will not prescribe you or
Right.
see that you are going through that. But there's so many different stages and levels in postpartum depression, and it was never recognized. So I had to deal with it myself. Um, yeah, so that's kind of really the origin before I got certified. But then, all these things that were happening, and I just knew there was more that we could do. So I really just made it my mission to really get certified and get it done. Like
Awesome.
yeah,
Good for
there's no
you. Good
waiting
for you.
around.
Yeah, and so how long has
Thank
it
you.
been? When did you originally get certified with emotion code first?
About 7 years ago.
Okay, awesome. So
Yeah,
you're one of the
yeah.
OGs.
Well, well, the emotion code has been around way longer. I
It's
actually,
been
one of my
longer, right?
One of my first clients happened to be an in-person client, and I was so nervous because, most of my sessions are remote. In fact, now every session is remote apart from my own family and children. I do
Right.
monthly health checkups through energy healing. So other than that, all my clients are remote throughout the world. So one of my first in-person clients, she had the binder, the original binder for the emotion code. And I was like, oh
Wow.
my gosh, like, do you know more than I do? Like, yeah, but and that was, even with her, it was an amazing story. She had nerve damage, couldn't walk at all. Like, making coffee every morning took hours. It would literally take her up until midday because she was shuffling, had to touch everything, and we were able to get her to be walking, like with a cane at first, right? But even that was amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And that was what, in a few months or within a year, or
Uh, we
how'd her
had
healing
we
story
had
go?
we had 3 sessions. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone. The emotion code, body code, the results don't have to take long. Sometimes they're so quick
Right.
like that, right?
Yes, yes. But,
Yes.
I love to share those quick stories, but at the same time, I don't want to give people false
Right.
expectations because truly everyone is so
Yeah.
different, so
It
different.
it really depends. Even within the same client, like that
Hmm.
client might have got, so much better regarding like mobility in a few sessions, but maybe
Yeah,
that client had other issues that took longer, right?
right.
Yeah.
Right, could be. Yeah.
It's
Everybody's
hard to
different,
say.
but truly, yeah, but if you were to like really wrap it up, this truly is the fastest modality I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I also
Yeah.
think it helps to have a practitioner who's open to not putting limitations on the healing outcomes. To be
Yes.
able to still hold space. Like, yes, it's totally possible. You could
Oh,
have a
it's a lot.
miraculous,
Yeah.
outcome from one session,
Hmm.
or it may take more sessions. Who knows? But just to have that even belief system that it is possible, I think
Hmm.
really helps. Okay, so awesome. So 7 years, and I only say you're OG because a lot of practitioners are, just 3 years in,
More
4 years
recent.
in, more
Yes.
recent. And back
Yeah.
then, 7 years ago, there were probably only like maybe under maybe 1,000 or so
Yeah.
certified
That's
emotion code
true.
practitioners,
Yeah.
and now there's, maybe quadruple that. So,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
right,
he's
right,
he's he's done a lot. His team has gotten bigger and they've done a lot more promoting too. And it's also that too, right? Plus
right.
the additional modality of the belief code now, which is absolutely amazing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, yeah, and not too many certified practitioners with that too. So, I'm glad you were able to go ahead and get that certification in for that added
Thank you.
tool for
Yeah.
everyone. If you could talk maybe about your experience and your approach, how you like to do your sessions. I took a quick look at your website, and I know your style is you like to do the energy healing, but you also layer it with coaching. I wouldn't say, I don't know if you would say it specialize or not, but you really have a passion for helping families and women and children. Not to say that you don't also help men and other clients and other things, but when we like, what
Yeah.
are your favorite areas to focus on, and whether you want to talk about that.
Everybody, children, babies, animals, men, women, parents, right? You don't have to be a parent. The heart open miracles effect used to be motherhood effect, where I focus more on mothers and working with their children as well. In my program, you can choose to have also a child as part of the program, but my passion, my favorite, is really about seeing the transformation in a person. So, that being, it could be a child, it could be with a mom, a dad, or with an individual, right? But that's truly where it is. Like, just being able to help somebody transform all of their pain or trauma or even unknown, right? Sometimes it's like
Mhm.
unknown. I don't know what I'm dealing with, but I know where I'm supposed to have more, and just gaining that clarity. And which is why I combine my healing with the coaching, because I always say to clients, the healing is great and wonderful, right? And you feel great and you feel relieved or healthier, whatever it is that we were able to help to clear. But you still have to live your day-to-day life, right? So the coaching part is that navigational piece, like to navigate your life, but then also having the roadmap, the life map forward. Right. And I say forward because you have this wonderful future to live, and that is making sure that is aligned with your true authenticity, your life purpose. So in the Heart Open Miracles Effect, it's all about healing all of that back stuff, healing the current, and the back stuff could be past life, could be
Right,
generational, could be childhood traumas, and then shifting you towards the future, which is really about remembering who you are, right? Remembering all the things that you're
right.
meant to do in this lifetime. Yeah. So I
Beautiful,
know that's kind of
Janlia.
broad in terms of what I do and how I do it, but that's,
Yeah.
yeah, I just love being able to help any individual at any age truly transform all of that stuff and giving them that knowledge, right? It's not
Right.
just
Yeah.
helping them
I
through
think
that, but
that's
so
so
yeah.
helpful. That's so helpful to have that because yes, with our energy healing modalities, we can get to the root, clear the trauma patterns, but if you're still stuck in your same behavioral patterns or your thinking patterns, then you'll feel better, but
Yeah.
you're gonna go forward in life potentially recreating the same
Yeah, and
stuff.
there's so many aspects of our life where we're not taught certain things, right? Even time management, for example, that's where the coaching part of it really comes in. Like, if you have an issue with time management, definitely help individuals with that. Yes, there's healing stuff you can do with that, but there's also techniques that
Right.
and lifestyle changes that you can do. So that's that coaching piece, right? To make sure that you have the knowledge and have the practice to go forward. And of course, that's just one
Okay.
example of,
Awesome. So the coaching part helps give them like tools to navigate their everyday life, different
Mhm.
coping strategies. I'm not sure what.
Tools and a life mat, a life strategy, right? A
Okay.
truly strategy, to completely shift towards aligning with their dream goals.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so you're on the West Coast of
Yes,
America,
I
but
am.
I
Yes, I
know you,
am.
right? I think you said you work with clients internationally, right? So how can you
Correct.
tell us how you work with clients? Do you meet over the phone call or over a video call, or do you do completely remote, just connecting to their energy? What's your format?
All of the above. Yeah, so most of my clients are over Zoom, so we would do it remotely in that way. If we're unable to meet over Zoom, sometimes it's over phone, or especially when there's time zone differences, it might be a little bit more difficult to schedule a good time together. Then I can just do the work completely remotely on my own. I always let my clients know roughly around what time I would be doing the work just so they're aware. But yeah, I let the client have that preference, but most people meet with me over Zoom.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. All right. How about a powerful healing story or two that you want to share? Any like breakthrough moment with a client or a family member or even yourself that deeply impacted you?
My goodness. There's so many different stories. It's kind of like which type of story you want. I think a great one to start off with would be the belief code. And I'll share two very quickly. First one is one of my first success stories in using the belief code. And the belief code is all about correcting our faulty core belief systems that could be inherited and actually largely inherited or developed within the first 7, 8 years of your life, right? Mostly. And so this client, she was a writer and she had a writer's block, but for months. So she had a deadline, and that's being a struggle. And of course, when you struggle with something and it's work related and you're a mom also and having to take care of the household, it kind of trickles into other areas of your life, right? So everything gets stressful, anxiety driven, and just a lot of turmoil in all aspects. So yeah, so this client, so she was having the writer's block. She was able to, in the beginning, explain the issue she was having, how it was causing all this stress in the rest, in all the other areas of her life. And after that session, so yes, one session, after that session, I asked her, okay, now when we talk about you doing this writing piece and meeting your deadline, how do you feel? And so immediately she went on to describe her issue, but then she couldn't describe it. She couldn't find the words because we had corrected the faulty core belief system and it was no longer there. And that's
Nice.
typically how you would feel. Yeah, that's typically how you would feel. And I definitely felt, the same ways in doing the session on myself in different areas when we're doing
That's
the belief code.
awesome. So just
Yeah.
one session and her creativity
Yes. Yes.
was able to start coming back.
Yeah, the
Amazing.
anxiety, whatever was related to that, it was clear. The block was never there. It was no longer there after the session. And yeah, of course, she met her deadline and she was able to continue writing. And I think she started talking more about either her blog or her book. I can't recall 100%, but basically it was like her next personal bigger project that she was wanting to do. Yeah, so that's
Beautiful.
one example. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any other examples? You got
Yeah,
two,
other
two with
great.
the nerve payment and now with the writer's block. And we
Oh,
just
thank
love
you,
all
thank
these
you.
stories because
Yeah,
we can
I
see
know
like,
they're
yeah, the
so
stories
amazing.
really show how this works. It's
And
easier to
yes,
just like see it and experience it versus explaining it.
right. And every session is so unique and so amazing. And there's definitely a discovery side. All the healing is the client's work, really, right?
Right.
We're as a healer, we're really just facilitating and helping. But yes, through experience, through different, knowledge and all of that, and holding space. That's a definitely a big one too. We're guiding and helping in that sense, but the healing is all through them. So there's also that big discovery piece that as a healer we have to learn and know how to navigate properly as well. And yeah, another big story I would say, and I won't say one particular person because it's definitely different stories, but it's when a client comes to me after trying so many different things with many different doctors, even holistic practitioners sometimes, like different modalities, and trying all these different things and couldn't get the help, couldn't get the clearing. So typically they would say, yes, it kind of worked in the beginning, maybe temporarily, or, doctors prescribed them drugs and they didn't want to take it anymore, or it was, causing more issues. And then being able to do this work and have them just gone and cleared, that is, yeah. So it's not one story, but a typical of some of the stories when they've come down that path. Or the other side of it is clients that have come from years and years of therapy or counseling, and we know how expensive that can get,
Yeah.
right? And not
Right.
really, again, it's like, yes, 'cause sometimes I feel good in the therapy, but then I feel like there's still the deeper underlying core stuff. And they're right, there is. And that's why they're seeking for the help. And this is where we can really get to the root issue and just clear
Right.
it.
So
Yeah.
you've seen your clients experience so much relief, so much benefit and breakthrough where they've been through like the traditional medical route or the traditional therapy route, but
Yes.
still felt very stuck, still felt very much in discomfort, pain, or just stuck
Yes.
in their emotional
Yes.
trauma. And
Yeah.
yeah, and this modality, it's like you said, it's fairly quick.
And so far these stories are just one lifetime, right? And if I can share another quick sort of
Oh yes,
favorite.
I love bringing. Feel free because I deal with past life traumas, even parallel lives, future life stuff for my clients.
Yeah.
When I
Yes.
start a session, I just set the intention for all timelines that
Yes,
want
that's
to
what I do.
for all timelines that want to
Yeah.
surface for healing to
Yes.
just show up and
Through. Yeah. Yes, they do. Yeah. So similarly, I do that too. Like, so I'm just keeping it open to all of them, right? A lot of us, a lot of, people think it's just about this lifetime, them and in their physical body, right? The 3D, right? So sometimes, yes, I do have to explain a little bit on about the 4D and 5D, a little bit, right? But just to enough so that they have a little bit of opening. But if you're already there, then great and wonderful. We can get straight to just, doing the work and, and having fun with it. Like the sessions are
yes,
so fun. But yeah, if I
yes,
if I can share another typical thing that I love and the successes is the generational healing. That's really where my passion is. I've always been passionate about, again, human potential and, the potential of children growing up. I just didn't know it. Like I was writing a parenting book like when I was like 13. Like nobody knew that at home, right? I used to write diary and I would write notes about what to do, like
oh
how
my
to
God.
encourage kids.
I think we're sisters from another, I don't know, somehow, because I had that journal when I was like 10 to 12 years old, like what not to do.
Yeah.
I'm mad at
Yeah.
my parents. This is what not to do.
Yes, my goodness. Yes,
Same.
and yes, we'll have to connect more on that. But yes, I started doing it. So like the human potential within children, right, was something that I've always been interested in. So as a young child, it was like I want to be a school teacher. And then throughout my life, it's always been like writing children's books and things like that. And now I know that writing the children's books that work is really about that human potential. So when we do healing, and if it's generational, it's just amazing when we heal the generational stuff. I've worked with particularly women because in this country, there's a lot of tribal trauma, but then also in other cultures, in the trauma that's passed down in womanhood. That's why I love working with my moms. But when the ancestors show up and they're supporting you, is just a beautiful, wonderful thing. And knowing that we're not only clearing our stuff from ourselves, right, individually, but also for our children and potential future generations,
Yes.
but then also all of the ancestors that have suffered that whole entire time. And I'm getting chills right now, right? All the ancestors. Yeah, we've had
Yeah.
very powerful sessions. So, and people spend thousands and thousands of dollars traveling hundreds and thousands of miles to go to retreats for this
Right.
type of work, right? And you don't really need to. I love retreats, right? But I'm just saying, like, we do this powerful work and we can
Right.
heal generationally, not just in the individual in just one session.
It's so powerful. Yeah. And
Mm.
retreats are fun, but we really do have everything we need inside ourselves. And
Yes.
sometimes,
Yeah.
in our role as energy healers, we're more of a guide to help you access that because it's really the
Yes.
client's higher self, subconscious
Yeah.
that's directing. And the ancestors are come, if it's an ancestral thing, and they are there to like support the whole
Yeah.
process. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I've
So, yeah.
met so many of my, obviously great fathers or mothers. Obviously, I wouldn't have met them, right? But, with not just my own and, other families and just other ancestors from different generations show up. It's just so powerful.
Awesome. Yeah. And, sometimes it does kind of take a client being open to that, but obviously you feel that out and you meet people where they're
Yeah.
at, right?
Yeah. So as a killer, I don't go looking for it, right? That's not how we do what we do. And it sounds like, you and I work a bit similarly where, we're just holding the space open, whatever comes through. So that's what we do. You come to me with an issue. That's what we're kind of going to hold the intention to target. If ancestors show up and come through, I always kind of ask them like, hey, are you open to learning about, your grandmother's side or whatever. Or sometimes if a heavy maternal energy comes through, I'll just mention it. So it's not like we're intentionally looking and
Right.
asking for ancestors to show up. Like they just show up.
Right.
And honestly, they're always around us. We just have to learn how to get back to that part of us that understands and feels all these energies and being at peace with it, right?
Yes.
Being
Yeah.
okay with it. Because
And
naturally
yeah,
we
more and
are.
more people are being more. I feel like more people are becoming open to exploring that part of
Yeah,
themselves and that path of healing. So I'm
I
so glad
agree.
you're able to
I
help
agree.
everyone in that way.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
so
you.
for personally, like how has starting to do this work from 7+ years ago and your own inner process? Obviously, the journey is not always linear, but how has incorporating this type of energy work transformed you or your health?
Everything the good and the bad, right? Because when you heal, it's not just always about good, right? Like feeling good, better. It's really kind of like spring cleaning, right? Sometimes you spring clean, you uncover more of the dirt and the mess that you have to clean, which
Yes.
is great because the
Oh my
ultimate
gosh, that's
goal.
such a good analogy. That's so true.
I teach through analogy as well. So like it's always something that I keep doing. And so when we do that, it's not like, oh my gosh, now I have more work, right? No, it's this beautiful state to be in because you are shifting into your more. Again, it's coming back to home. It's coming back to your true authentic self. So instead of holding down, like keeping all this stuff covered and holding down all the baggage, you can fully, truly let go and just be free, have more clarity, have more health, more wealth, success, love, relationships, all of that stuff. So for personally, yes, it's been up and down, mostly up, right? But sometimes when we uncover stuff, then we get to find out the realization of all this suppression, all of this stuff that I've been holding down that needs to be changed, right? Then you get to shifting in that way. But yeah, personally, it's given me clarity, confidence in, not just this work, but different areas of my life, even relationship, and just being able to also share this with my children, right? I teach them
Yeah,
this
I
stuff. We
was gonna
have
ask like
spiritual
how,
circles.
right. I was gonna ask how do you incorporate this with your children? Are they okay with you doing energy work with them? Do they come to you when they're not feeling regulated and ask for mommy to
Yes,
do it?
always. When I don't feel right, they always come to me and mommy can do a session. With my older girls, I encourage them to do it themselves, right? Because they know how to do it themselves. I've taught them. So even the youngest one, well, the two younger ones, ever since they're babies, we talk about this stuff. We're doing the sessions on them. I have a video of my youngest one when he was one, he was doing muscle testing,
Oh,
right?
how
It
cute.
was the cutest in the middle of the, like, not in the middle of the night, but it was dark. And I was like, what are you doing? I turned on the light and he's doing muscle testing because sometimes I'll do it for them late at night when they're all calm and quiet, right? I'll check
Right.
in with them. Yeah, so it's important to teach our children these things because it's about their own birth the right ability to
Yeah.
heal, their own intuition, have, being connected with their own self in their own intuition as well. So that's what it's all about, learning about their body, regulating their body, and then knowing that they can live from their heart's energy. My program is all about coming from the heart energy. So we need to heal the heart, right? Clearing the heart wall with the emotion code, for example, activating our heart energy and being aware of our heart energy and living through that way. So we talk about that a lot. Whether they understand what they're doing, if the muscle testing is wrong, it doesn't matter. I'm constantly making sure that they understand that they have the ability and that they're constantly practicing it also.
I love that. I love that you're
Thank you.
giving helping your kids access these powerful tools that they can do for themselves. There's
Thank
so many
you.
ways kids can help learn emotional regulation, but like this is a
Yes.
simple one they can do. And to also help them access their intuition so much easier too. Good job,
Yes.
Mama.
Thank you. So in my home program for my parents, I actually have a separate module that there's tools so that they can share these type of things with their own children because
Oh,
that's what it's about,
beautiful.
all about, right? We're not just healing ourselves
Right.
and the generations, like we need to also teach our children so that we're teaching them the right way as opposed to continuing this pattern that we've lived, right? That's why I called the old tired story. Just I love cultures, right? But some of the stuff, were made up a long time ago and don't make sense, never made sense because somebody just decided that was the rule and everybody stuck with it and it just doesn't make sense. And that's why we have so much hurt in the world today is because we just living by that's what we're supposed to do. That's how a man is supposed to act. That's how a woman's supposed to act. We're supposed to feel safe in our body. We're supposed to feel safe in our own homes, but many people don't.
Could you, Janlia, maybe tell us about ways you, as an energy healer, a mom, and all the roles you have, how do you take care of your own energy? Because you're constantly giving out, whether
Ooh,
it's to your
yes.
clients, to your
Thank
kids.
you.
And I know that so many watching, they are just starting to learn this work, or maybe they're new practitioners, or maybe they've been practitioners for a while but fell into that pattern of neglecting themselves as much because they're constantly giving. How do you take care of your own energy these days?
Yes. So to answer that question correctly, want to just offer that at one, it's really the practice of living from the heart energy, remembering that, right? So having practicing that and keeping in that spirituality side of it, right? But on a daily basis, on a personal level, again, it's that heart awareness living, checking in with the heart. So every morning, shielding up, creating the energetic shield, shielding up, doing the energetic cleansing. I do also frequency healing with tuning forks. So, every little bit, things like that. Chakra aligning. Prior to a session, that's typically I'll do chakra aligning, I'll do energy cleansing, and then getting out in nature. Things like taking care of our bodies, which is also part of my program, right? Again, we can do all this healing, but we still need to live our life, right? So, taking care of our bodies, hydrating, and remembering to do these things. So, I'll hydrate before a session, after a session, just to make sure, the energy stays clear and clean for myself as well. And then getting out in nature, being in touch with the earth's frequency. Yeah. And so that I can continue keeping this open. In fact, sometimes after just one session, it could be so draining that I just have to get out. I'm like, kids, let's go. We're going to the park, right? Sometimes I'll have three back to backs and I'm, more okay. So it's these kind of practices, session to session, but also on a daily basis.
Good. I'm so glad you're taking care of yourself. Because,
Thank you. And but
yeah,
it's sometimes it's hard too, right? Because I'm still a human, right? I'm still living in this 3D life and having these, responsibilities, as a mom and things like that. So you do have to sometimes remember, but having the practice, right? And that's why I do the coaching and in my program is having the practice and having the tools so that you're waking up doing those things throughout the day, remembering to do these things, but then also at night, setting the intention, energy cleansing, doing those things at night. And they don't have to take long. I know, moms are going to go, oh my gosh, I already don't have time. And you're
right.
telling me I have to do these things. In fact, doing these things is going to give you more
More
energy,
space.
going
Yes.
to give you more space and
Yes.
time. Yeah. So it's the opposite, right? Again, it's all about changing that old tire story. But you have to decide, you have to go, okay, am I going to stop the craziness and actually do something about it now? And yes, initially it may take a little bit more investment in time because you're coming with your baggage and learning new stuff. But as you're learning new stuff and healing all the baggage, it is going to be so
Right.
much lighter. It's so much
Yeah.
lighter and so much more loving.
It's so true, just finding those personal self-care practices that keep our energy aligned and keep us our heart open and keep us clear. It doesn't, once you start doing them, it's just second nature. You can feel when you start getting off, it's like, wait, I need to do more of this, or I probably would benefit from taking a 5-minute walk outside, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like just tuning in and seeing what we need, taking care of ourselves can go such a long way rather than just forcing our way through it, especially
Yes.
for mamas who already have enough on
Yes.
their plate for sure. Okay,
Yes.
Janlia, could you give us one piece of advice, one or two, for to someone curious about starting their healing journey, whether it's as a client or if they're at that point and they're considering becoming an energy healer? So from a client perspective, and maybe from someone who's stepping into becoming a healer.
I say congratulations and welcome. And well, no, I don't want to sound like getting into a program, but yes, it's truly that's beautiful. Highly encourage it, support you with full love. Like yes, a big yes. Get into it. You're not gonna live life the same way after that, right? So yes, I fully support it and fully encourage it. And there's no fear, okay? There's no
It's not real.
ifs or buts. You're right. Just, yeah, even if you feel like it's not real, just try it, right? And you'll see you won't go back. Like there's
Right.
no going back. Like in fact, you are actually going back again, like going back to your true authentic self, your true ability, your God-given right. So you'll feel more at home, you'll feel more at peace. So if that sounds better than where you're at now, then yes, definitely go for it.
Well said. Could you tell everyone where we can find you, where we can connect with you?
Yes, thank you. My website is heartfulliving.today, and that's heart for like heart, FUL. And I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. The handle is at Heartful Living Today.
Okay, awesome. And I'll have all the links in the description and everything. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Thanks
Oh
for
my goodness, thank
giving us,
you.
so much of your time and your love. I can really feel your passion for what you do. So thank you for showing up for everyone. And
Questions to anybody. So if anybody has any questions, do not hesitate because you have just this lifetime right now to really take care of all the stuff and getting into living this beautiful life that you deserve and is waiting for you. So
yes.
take this as your hint and sign to like really go for it.